What up, my madness society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Loke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and are subscribed to the channel. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. I would highly appreciate it. You know what I mean? Um, that's how you will help me out right here. Now, what I wanted to talk about was something that I was getting asked by one of my subscribers. Right, we were having a conversation. Right. He was talking about this conspiracy theory. Right. He was saying about the secret government and talking about how this is proof that there's something, you know, something something's not right going on, right? Something fishy, something out of the norm. Which was saying that all the presidents are related, right? Showing that there's something going on, right? But before I get started with that, I want to make it clear that on my channel, I don't hate or I don't dislike conspiracy theories. I have an open mind, right? I'm not biased. I actually like studying about conspiracy theories. Because I want to believe them to be true, right? But at the same time that I want to believe them to be true, I have to be rational, and I have to dismiss facts from fiction, right? um and that's the only way I could call it. It's not that I'm trying to hate on people or I'm trying to be a party pooper ruining the fun. It's just that why I can only be honest, and give my honest opinions on, and only see it from facts from fiction, right? um so I have heard of this and have done extensive research on this, right? It's been around for a while already. This conspiracy theory, right? That was brought from a little girl who 12-year-old girl who did this project, and found that. But before that, um, right off the bat, let's start off by saying that not all the presidents are related. All right. That's actually one of the misconceptions that's spread with this conspiracy, right? Not all the presidents are related. 24 or 25 of them are related. Not all of them, but 24 to 25 of them are related, right? Including Obama, So well, you see them right there. Um, and one thing, when it comes to DNA tests, right? If you look into it, right, if you were to grab your DNA and the DNA of some other, Mexicano or whatever ethnicity you are, if you trace it back enough, you will find a connection or an ancestry, between you guys. So most likely you guys are related. Um, People have to, remember this, right? With this country, all these people are coming from one area, right? Uh, and incest was a common theme back then, right? People marrying people from their families, it was common. As sickening as that sounds, this was stuff that's how back then it was, bro. You had a lot of sick things. I feel like as humans we have evolved through time. You know what I mean? But yes, these were some sickening things that were happening. And not only that, the areas themselves weren't as populated, so there wasn't as many people. So people have to, put that in consideration. So then now when you add on all these factors, now it doesn't become so far-fetched or so like, oh, there must be some twisted agenda going on when you play all those factors in, right? There was less people back then, and they are all coming from, a certain area. So the chances of them being related are, well, yeah, common. You know what I mean? High, actually. Um, you know what I mean? It's not so far fetched to believe so. Just with any other ethnicity. Because the population of society wasn't as much as it is, nowadays. It was a lot less back then. Um, you know what I mean? People tend to live in roughly around the same areas back then. So it's not so crazy to see if you were to trace your DNA that, you could possibly be related to Vin Diesel or Will Smith if you trace it back enough. And as crazy as that sounds, I'm being this serious. you know. Um, so when people say that there's some dark agenda going on, or that there's some, something more to it than this, I understand that people want to believe this to be so because of how they feel about government and how they view government, and they have every right to feel that about the government, because the government has done a lot of crazy and sick shit, and the government has lied a lot. That's not a secret, that's not a conspiracy, those are the facts. But see, the thing that they have done and, you know, have kept and everything, all plausible things, or all stuff that, yes, I could see a human doing that kind of stuff, because, there's actually a lot of humans who are bad people, or not the best of people. There's a lot of psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists and sadists that live amongst, us. People don't understand, but there's a lot of crazy people in this world. A lot of people suffer from a lot of personality and mental disorders. They just don't know it. These it's true stuff. If you study more about human behavior and overall understand, the dynamics behind a personality, how people behave and interact with each other, you tend to understand stuff a little bit more better than, let's say, those who believe more in the supernatural, right? I'm not religious, so therefore, it's a lot. I'm more, level grounded, right, when it comes to, exploring the avenues of the possibilities, Now, if I was to believe more, like if I was to be religious, then yes, all these, tales of, sorcery and reptilian and Illuminati and drinking the blood of children to stay young. Yes, and all of that. Yes, of course, it's gonna seem plausible, and it's gonna, you know what I mean, to me, if I believe in all that. But since I don't, um, I stay more focusing on the facts that we do have about human behavior, interactions, and how a human thinks and behaves, amongst others, and secrecies and events that have occurred throughout history, because history is a perfect example when we're talking about stuff like this. It's a perfect tool to use when it comes to combating these kind of topics, because it gives us the greatest evidence of all time, um, human interactions, right? And what humans have done and kept, and why, their motives too. Um, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and let's just say, okay, they are all related, and there's a secret agenda, right? Because there's a secret government going on and stuff like that. But what would be the purpose of this secret government? Like, what is their goal? What is their intention? Because, I mean, presidents have came and died already, and I mean, if there is a secret agenda going on, then what's the agenda? Because people, well, not everybody, but a majority of people live fine and dandy, and they live their life good, and they die old, and they die. So what is this grand scheme of theirs that they're doing, or what is their agenda exactly? Like, what evil motives do they have? These satanic or sadistic, plans that they have? Because a lot of people are living their lives, enjoying it, and dying happy. So, like, when is this plan gonna kick in, or like, how did the forefathers foreseen this? To build their structures and foreseen this, to self benefit those or whatever, like. Because even presidents have gotten assassinated and have been stressed the hell out, and are not too happy living in their personal lives. They're going through a whole lot of battles and shit themselves, right? So it's like, what exactly is their plan and agenda, and how are they benefiting from it? Because I really don't see no benefit, in it. And here's another thing that people have to take in consideration when we're talking about human behavior, right? Because in order to do something of secret governments to exploit people and everything, this takes, some type of, not just any individual could be this way, you know what I mean? This takes a sadistic, and, a little bit of a, sociopath, psychopath type of character, right? And now, if you're going to control a massive, government like the United States, the biggest, a lot of people have to be on board. So that means a lot of people have to think like you and behave like you in order for you to keep this plan going in motion, and in order to be doing all of this. So, and there's one thing, if there's one thing that we know, is that egos, psychopaths, stuff like that, they can't coexist amongst each other. They don't get along. You see it with mafias. You see it with dictators. You see it with, all these people that have these, traits. They don't. They're paranoid. You see, they take out their own. They kill each other. They can't get along with each other, right? Now, so for you to run something as evil or sadistic, as people say, for this long, without no kind of chaos or internal beef, is very hard to believe, given the fact of thousands of years of history that has shown otherwise to be this to be so, right? Like, the common evidence is that they don't get along with each other, bro. They can't coexist with each other. People who are evil like this and big ego like this and everything, they can't get along with each other. So for them to be able to keep all these kind of crazy people in line is very, very hard to believe. I mean, just look at the history, bro. There's been a lot of crazy, sick, and twisted individuals that have lived in society, but they all the stories end the same, bro. And they always end up killing if they do have followers, always end up, killing them because they're paranoid. Because behaviors like that are very paranoid. So I don't see how this kind of organization will be able to coexist with each other. Because there obviously would have to be alphas out there, right? And one alpha is not gonna want to, bow down or be seen as they want to be seen as the one. And too many people wanting to be number one is gonna be very hard for you to keep that group, stable. But overall, give your opinions in the comments. What do you guys think? These are just my opinions overall on the matter. I'm just saying, I'm Shadow. We out.